celebrated it. Let me tell you, decentralization came into existence. They even talk about it in Cameroon because of the Anglophone crisis, because they wanted to bring something. Decentralization was put into law in 1996. It is in the 1996 Constitution. And from 1996 up to today, decentralization has never been implemented. And recently he created, he gathered some group of CPD, his supporters, elite, politicians, and said they should go and form a regional council, House of Chiefs. And then they created it, they formed it. And then they say that is decentralization, in which they have been for how many months without any resources to start their business. Then they are still depending on the government for money, for resources, for anything before they will start. And then you came and gave them vehicles. Is that what they were elected for? They have not done anything for close to 1 year already. And they say it's decentralization, that they are still depending and still receiving information and order from Yaoundé. You say that is decentralization?
Hello and welcome to TFA Analysis. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year once more. I am here today to talk about the speech of the President of Cameroon, President Paul Biya, on the 31st of December 2022. He said a lot of things, and many people say it was a repeated speech. And many people condemn it, and many people were not interested in following it. I posted the complete video on this YouTube channel. I believe you have listened to it all, and today I have to talk about it. We know TFA is a talking point platform where we talk about pertinent issues, societal issues, and we propose solutions. And then we are looking at critically from what concerns us, because throughout this week, President Paul Biya did not directly address the citizen or the population of Cameroon. He kept on mentioning things that are not helpful, because what we were expected to hear from President Paul Biya as solution to all the trouble that Cameroonians are passing through in the health domain, in education, and in all aspects. It is not by creating issue that will solve the problem. It is solving. We have enough schools in Cameroon. We have enough hospitals in Cameroon. We have roads that have been, the foundation have been laid all over Cameroon, but the maintenance is the problem. It is not an issue of hearing every year this contract will be awarded, this project will be carried on. Multiple projects in which no one at the end will be completed. That is the problem, and that is why we are coming to talk about it. President Paul Biya started his speech, and the first issue that interests me was he looked at all the trouble in Cameroon, the poor standard of living in Cameroon, the difficulty Cameroonians are passing through. President Paul Biya did not blame himself and his government for it, but he turned to put the blame on coronavirus and the war in Ukraine, forgetting that there is serious trouble, there is serious war in Cameroon, that is in the northwest and the southwest region. That is more than what is going on in Ukraine. That he forgot that there is serious trouble, war in the northern part of Cameroon. That is the far north region, with the Boko Haram, where more than 2 million people have been displaced. Villages destroyed, burnt down. More than 5,000 people killed in the far north region. More than 4,000 people killed in the northwest and the southwest region. And all these three regions are not producing anything to help the country. All the resources that was coming out from the northwest region and the southwest region and far north region are no more coming. Those things have stopped. The second largest employers in Cameroon, that is the CDC, went bankrupt, burnt down because of the Anglophone problems. President Paul Biya forgot to mention all this, that it is because of all this trouble that he created in Cameroon that the living standard in Cameroon has dropped, that many people have gone below poverty line, that there is inflation in Cameroon. He forgot to mention all this, but he turned to push the blame to Ukraine and Russia and coronavirus. That is the first issue. The second issue that President Paul Biya talked that touched me or attracted my attention is proposing a solution to end the crisis or the war in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. He mentioned that they have to consider the importance of peace and dialogue. I don't know whether President Paul Biya is conscious or he is aware or his age is already affecting him, that he cannot reason, that the very thing, I don't know. It is true that poor people know how to advise people how to get money. People who are in trouble know how to advise people how to get out of the trouble, but they forget to help themselves out of that trouble. And this is the very incident that President Paul Biya is inside. He is having a serious war in his country, which is a constitutional conflict. That is the Anglophone crisis. He refused to solve it through dialogues. He insisted that he would end the war militarily, but he's advising Russia and Ukraine to end their own on the table. Hypocrite. That is just the only words I can describe President Paul Biya. Hypocrite and wicked. Because it is out of wickedness that you forget the calamity your own people are passing through. You know something. It is out of wickedness that you know that this is the solution to all problems in the world. Dialogue. But you refuse to do it for your own people. Even your own slave master, Macron, came to Cameroon and still insisted that you should call for another dialogue. Then you do refuse, and you are advising another person to call for dialogue or to go for negotiation and sit to look for lasting peace. He mentioned that he will be involving in 3 serious projects. That is exploitation of natural resources, especially in the mining sector. That involves the mining sector. And the President Paul Biya talked about this issue and said things have started. And then I'm asking the question, all these things, will they benefit the population? Mining is not coming to Cameroon but in 2023. It has been there since before independence. But yet, the people keep on suffering. The exploitation of natural resources. If the government of Cameroon was a government for the people, before any company go for any exploitation, they have to construct roads, good roads. They have to bring potable water in that locality, electricity, school, and hospital. Those are conditions that all countries usually take into before signing any contract with anybody for any exploitation of natural resources, so that the local community will benefit from. But they will just narrowly, maybe through a helicopter, to come do their exploitation and then carry it out and allow the population with nothing. President Paul Biya had to take that into consideration. He also made mention of drinkable, that he came to discover that even Yaoundé do not have drinkable water. And you are a president saying it without any shame. You have been president for 40 years. And he was saying it without any shame. That Yaoundé is having difficulty, a shortage of drinkable water. Not that they are having shortage with some kind of domestic water, but drinkable water. Yaoundé, Douala, Buea, and nearly all cities in Cameroon. All cities. We saw one video the other day that was circulating on social media, where somebody in Yaoundé opened tap and it came out like Coca-Cola. That was drinkable water in the city where the president is. Why? Because the president does not know anything as drinkable water is concerned. Because everything about him and his family are being imported. Drinkable water. So that he does not know anything of that nature. It is a shame that the president, being for 40 years, your own country and the capital of your own nation, where you are sitting, they lack drinkable water. It also talks about improving living conditions of all citizens. This one, President Paul Biya mentioned it when he was taking power in 1982. That was his priority. And for 40 years, he has not fulfilled it. He has not achieved it. Living high living standard for a better living standard for the citizens of Cameroon. People are passing through terrible conditions. People are living on less than $1 a day under the regime of President Paul Biya, who said he is for the people. He is for the people. I don't know how he will increase the standard of living of the citizens in which he has created a corrupt government, entangling them in embezzlement and corruption, and is using what they have stolen to gain support for himself. He asked them to embezzle money that belongs to the citizen willfully, willingly, so that they will support him. Civil servant, the top government officials, the politician, elite, they don't pay electric bills. But they are the ones taking the highest salary. They don't pay water bills. They don't pay rent. Yet, they don't put fuel in their vehicles. They pay for nothing. They are living free life at the detriment of the common people. How are you going to do it? To stop them? Because if you stop them, they will rise against you. They will expose you. Because that is the only pillar, the only thing he is using in order to remain in power. Entangling them, blackmailing them with little money. President Paul Biya have to, first of all, correct himself, his government, before anything. Before anything. That no sector, he said that no sector of the society was neglected in 2022. And the highest thing we saw in 2022 is poverty, hunger, poor health. Thousands of people are in hospitals today in Cameroon, lying down, sleeping on the floor. We saw coronavirus. We saw cholera. In city, Yaoundé, Douala, Buea. A city without road, like Douala. And President Paul Biya said no sector was neglected in 2022. He talked about the quality health care, in which Cameroon, even himself, the president, is ashamed to go to any hospital in Cameroon. Himself is ashamed to go to any hospital in Cameroon because he himself knows the kind of doctors and nurses that he has trained and sent them out there unqualified. Knows that most of them came in because they have godfathers and became doctors. Know the kind of medication that all the roadside drugs are the ones that are being circulated in our hospital. And he said there is quality health care system in Cameroon. President Paul Biya, he touched another very important point, and that is the security situation. That the security, I mentioned what he said, I'm quoting it. He said, security situation has been brought under control nationwide. We heard about the Macron in Douala. We heard about the kidnappings in the East region. We heard serious and terrible issue concerning Boko Haram in the Far North region. We heard about thousands of people killed this 2022 in Anglophone regions. We heard about churches burnt down in Anglophone regions. We heard about villages burnt down recently in this December month. We heard about the armed robber, the immorality all over Cameroon, because we have a failed government ruling over the people of Cameroon. And he talk about security, that everything is under control, everything has been brought under control. Why a military was killed just this December ending? The military cannot move freely. Children cannot go to school. Many things are not being operational in southern Cameroon. And you say everything is under control, has been brought under control. You, the president of Cameroon, cannot go to Anglophone regions because of fear. And you say everything is under control. It is a shame. Government officials are moving in armored car. People are being kidnapped, killed every day. And Can you say security issue is under control? A day cannot pass in Cameroon without us hearing that they discover a lifeless body of somebody somewhere, especially in Yaoundé and Douala. And you say security is under control? It is terrible. It is terrible. He went ahead to say thank you to the United States of America for arresting some Ambazonia fighter. So to President Paul Biya, that is a victory. The victory we want is the freedom of the people of Southern Cameroon. It's for freedom of speech in Cameroon. The victory you can celebrate are the things you say the day you took over power. Those are the victory. That is what we call victory. It's to present a Cameroon that everybody will be happy. Not that when they will arrest your own citizen, that you have to stand and fight for his release or for their release. You are celebrating it and announcing it on the eve of another new year. That is a victory. It is a shame. It is a shame to the government of President Paul Biya. President Paul Biya also talked about decentralization is moving progressively. That all power has been given to the local authority. And then many CBDM supporter club celebrated it. Let me tell you, decentralization came into existence. They even talk about it in Cameroon because of the Anglophone crisis, because they wanted to bring something. Decentralization was put into law in 1996. It is in the 1996 Constitution. And from 1996 up to today, decentralization has never been implemented. And recently he gathered some group of CPD and his supporters, elite, politicians, and said they should go and form a regional council, House of Chiefs. And then they created it, they formed it. And then he said that is decentralization, in which they have been for how many months without any resources to start their business. Then they are still depending on the government for money, for resources, for anything before they will start. And then you came and gave them vehicles. Is that what they were elected for? They have not done anything for close to 1 year or day. And they say it's decentralization, that they are still depending and still receiving information and order but from Yaoundé. You say that is decentralization? President Paul Biya, I don't know whether it's not, I know, he knows all these things. He knows what decentralization is all about, but he refused because of his wickedness, because of his objective, because of the evil heart that he is having, because he knows the definition of decentralization is transferring power to the local authority, where they can organize their own police, they can raise their own resources and their own revenue, manage it without the interference of the central government. They can carry out some kind of development project, like road and other things. But everything comes from Yaoundé. If they want to do anything, they have to inform Yaoundé, and Yaoundé have to tell them what to do. It's just like he talked about security. Thousands of people are perishing in prisons in Cameroon because of injustice. Because any case in Cameroon, they have to refer it to Yaoundé and ask whether the person should be released or the person should be maintained. Knowing fully that all evidence show that the person is free, the person is not guilty. But Yaoundé say the person is guilty, the person must be guilty. Take for example the lady who is in prison. She put to birth in prison. And the crime they are accusing her of is that she was a gay friend to General Nopiti and separated with General Nopiti and even engaged to somebody else. But since he was having something with General Nopiti many 4 years ago, she is entangled and she has been arrested. And then seeing the foolishness of the government, the court in Buya ordered that the girl should be released on bail. But Yaoundé said the woman must remain in prison, and the woman remained in prison. That is shown to everybody that Cameroon is not a country. It is a property of President Paul Biya. And he determines who stays outside and who leaves. That is it. Paul Biya talk about corruption, that everybody involved in corruption must be put behind bars. Recently, we heard about somebody in Cameroon, a businessman, owning the electricity company more than 1 billion francs CFA. We heard about some owning taxation more than 2 billions, 7 billions. And then the case went to court, and the government of Cameroon involved and said, no, the man is not owning anything. We are all aware of it. No government officials pay electricity bills. That is corruption. No government official pay taxes for anything. That is corruption. That is corruption. Mismanagement of public funds are everywhere. The road from Babanjo to Bamenda has been in the National Assembly many years and a budget allocated for it. Yet, it has never been accomplished. But every year they vote for another budget to it. They don't ask where is the budget for this. The President Paul Biya did not celebrate 20 national days or important days in Cameroon in 2020-2021. There was a budget allocated for it. Nobody has given any account in that domain. Money for coronavirus was embezzled, in which the president talked about it on the eve of the new year in 2021. Nothing has been done about it. Nobody has been arrested. And he's talked about people who will be arrested because of corruption. Corruption is what is keeping President Paul Biya in office. Without corruption, President Paul Biya and CBDM will collapse this night. Without corruption. So he should not be fooling Cameroonians. That corruption that will be brought to book. Those who have been taken to prison because of corruption charges, there are those that have stand against CBDM. Because President Paul Biya is using money that have embezzled to blame them. If you stand against him today, he will say the money you are using was the money for this particular project and you will be sent to prison. So you are obliged to support him. That is why you see all these businessmen in Cameroon that are CBDM members, whether they like it or no. Because if they say they will not support CBDM, their taxes will increase. And if they support CBDM, they pay less taxes at the detriment of who? Of the common people. He urged the parents and the teachers. He failed in his responsibility to increase the moral standard of Cameroonians. And we are seeing terrible things happening in Cameroon. All the terrible things happening in Cameroon is because of lack of morality. Because the government of Cameroon have failed. Moral education has been destroyed and cancelled by the government of President Paul Biya. And is now coming back to urge and force the parents and teachers that they must by force bring morality into the society. In which when you bring it, the government will destroy it on TV, national TV, on publicity along the road, taking money for people to be doing all kinds of immoral things. That is the failure of President Paul Biya. And he mentioned all these things during his end of year speech, 2022. That is his tradition. No accountability. No pity for the suffering population of Cameroon. Nothing. As they are enduring in Yaoundé, moving from one place to another in helicopter, without seeing the terrible route in Cameroon, importing drinkable water, without knowing the suffering the Cameroonians are passing through because of lack of drinkable water, having constant electricity supply, without knowing that millions of Cameroonians are living in darkness. They stand to write a speech and read it as end of year. We keep on praying every day. May God bless Cameroonians with somebody who can stand and look at the nation and have pity and liberate us from the hands of this slave master.